some voices you're never supposed to hear. Four years after surviving him, the terror returns.
Hello, Finney.
This time, he's not just a man. He's a nightmare you can't escape. And tonight, we are diving into the Black Phone saga. Both movies, scene by scene. The hidden details, the connection between them, and if another call might still be coming. I'm Silent Hour, and tonight, I'm answering the phone. And to everyone watching, we have a big favor to ask. Join us on Instagram. That's where we post exclusive trailers and sneak peeks before they hit YouTube. Your support there means the world to us, so please give us a follow. In 1978, Denver seemed like a quiet, normal suburb. But underneath the calm streets, a shadow lurked. A man known only as the Grabber was stalking the neighborhood, abducting young boys and leaving behind an eerie signature. Black balloons floating ominously at every crime scene. Among the residents of this neighborhood were siblings Finney Blake and his younger sister Gwen. Their home was far from peaceful. Their father, Terrence, was abusive and heavily alcoholic, leaving the children to navigate a life filled with fear and tension. At school, Finn faced relentless bullying, though he found solace in his friend Robin, a loyal classmate who protected him whenever the torment got too intense.
Fuck with Finn again. I fuck with you.
But the terror in their town was bigger than schoolyard bullies. One day, another boy Finn knew, Bruce, disappeared without a trace. Gwen, who had inherited a psychic gift much like her late mother, began having visions in her sleep. She saw Bruce being snatched by a man in a black van. Black balloons followed him like grim markers of fate. Gwen tried to warn the police, Detectives Wright and Miller, but her visions seemed too strange, too unprovable, and they dismissed her as a child lost in her imagination. Then the unthinkable happened. Finn himself was taken. One moment he was walking the streets of his neighborhood. The next he awoke in a cold, soundproof basement. The room was sparse. A dirty mattress on the floor, a toilet in the corner, and a black rotary phone mounted on the wall. The Grabber, an unsettling figure who posed as an amateur magician promoting a small business called Abracadabra Entertainment and Supplies, had him trapped completely. But then something strange happened. The black phone rang. And for the first time, Finn wasn't alone. On the line were the voices of the Grabber's previous victims. Bruce's ghost, and barely remembering who he was in life, gave Finn the first clue. A loose floor tile that could be removed to create a tunnel. It was the first spark of hope in an otherwise grim nightmare. The Grabber's methods were cruel and meticulous. Another boy, Billy, warned Finn that leaving the basement carelessly would be deadly. The Grabber was watching, always waiting, ready to strike with a belt or worse. Billy's advice was invaluable. use a cord to climb out through the basement window. Finn tried, breaking the window bars in the process, unknowingly trapping himself from retreat. Meanwhile, Gwen's visions continued, increasingly vivid and terrifying. She saw Billy's abduction unfold and realized her brother was in grave danger. Despite her father's disbelief and anger, she trusted her instincts and set out to find him. Finn's attempts to escape grew more desperate. He spoke with Griffin, another spirit trapped by the grabber, who revealed a lock combination. Finn tried to flee again, but the grabber's dog alerted him, and he was recaptured. Each failed attempt wore down his hope, but the black phone remained a lifeline. Another victim, Vance, instructed Finn to break through a wall into a freezer as a potential escape route. Finn smashed through the wall using a toilet tank cover, but found the freezer door locked. Just when it seemed all hope was lost, Robin's ghost reached out through the phone, calm, encouraging, and resolute. Robin told Finn to fight, to use the phone receiver itself as a weapon. The ghosts of the murdered boys became his guides, each call, each whisper, strengthening his resolve. Outside, Gwen had pieced together the puzzle. She discovered the grabber's property and rushed to the location, bringing the police closer than ever. Max, the grabber's brother, realized Finn's peril and tried to intervene, only to be brutally murdered with an axe by his own sibling. The final confrontation was inevitable. Finn, armed with knowledge, courage, and the guidance of the spirits, confronted the grabber one last time. He tripped the killer into the tunnel he had dug, trapping his ankle in the window bars below. The grabber, vulnerable for the first time, heard the voices of the children echoing through the black phone. With a surge of strength, Finn snapped his captor's neck, ending the terror once and for all. The aftermath was bittersweet. Finn used freezer meat to distract the guard dog and escaped the house. Gwen, finally able to guide the police to the property, reunited with her brother. Their father arrived, tearful and apologetic, confronting the consequences of his abuse. The siblings embraced, their bond stronger than ever after surviving unimaginable horror. Time passed, and life slowly returned to a fragile sense of normalcy. Finn returned to school, no longer the timid, bullied boy he once was. He was confident, almost legendary among his peers, and finally sat next to his crush with a newfound sense of safety.
But Gwen's gift, the psychic connection to the spirits, the black phone, the unseen world, hinted that this story was far from over. The echoes of the grabber, the voices of the dead, and the terror that had haunted them all still lingered, only waiting for the next call.
Right here. This is it.
Just like this legend, which has chosen you to be its next host. Do you dare to claim the curse?
When the moon calls, the legend awakens once more. From 1941 until now, horror's darkest curse is reborn. But be warned, the curse of the werewolf never dies. It only waits for its next host. And now, fate has chosen you as its next victim. Embrace your fate and claim your curse with 40% off. Today only. Link below before it's too late.
Okay. So, you remember the first movie, right? Finney Blake, a kid just like any other, ends up trapped in a basement by this terrifying guy called the Grabber. And no, he's not just some random psycho. He's inspired by all those real-life child abduction stories from the 70s, the kind that makes parents never want to let their kids out of sight. Finney, he survived, somehow, with the help of these ghostly voices of the Grabber's victims, talking to him through a black phone. It sounds insane, but he made it through. And yeah, he killed the Grabber. But surviving doesn't mean it's over. That kind of trauma, it never really leaves you. Fast forward 4 years, and Finney is a completely different kid. On the outside, he looks fine. He's earned a reputation as a tough guy, but the truth, he's drowning in the memories, the nightmares, the fear. He smokes weed to forget, to push it all away, and honestly, it's working, sort of. Until his sister Gwen starts having these strange, terrifying dreams. Assuming, Gwen shares the same gift as Finney. She can see things no one else can. The dead, premonitions, visions. But she doesn't see it as a gift, she sees it as a curse. And after what they went through with the Grabber, the house is broken. Their dad has sobered up. Their mum is gone. Her suicide still hangs heavy over them. And now, Gwen is seeing something truly horrifying. A Christian camp called Alpine Lake. Children trapped under a frozen lake, mutilated, screaming silently, faces reaching out to her. And the weird part, this isn't new. Their mum, Hope, had the same visions years ago. And their dad, he seems to believe it drove her mad. Maybe even to suicide. Gwen can't ignore it anymore. After a chilling dream where she speaks to her dead mother, she realizes there's a truth to all this.
Hey, Gwen. Gwen.
Finn, I was talking to Mom.
It was just a dream.
No, it was a dream, yeah, but it was her. She called me from a youth camp.
A youth camp.
And so she convinces Finney and her new boyfriend Ernesto to go with her to Alpine Lake Camp. A place where Hope once worked years before, and a place that clearly holds some dark secrets. They get there, and of course, a blizzard hits immediately. Snow whips at them, visibility is near zero, and the camp is silent, dead silent. And then they see it, an old, disused phone booth, standing alone, slightly swinging in the wind. Creepy as hell. And then it rings. Finney knows that sound instantly. It's the Grabber.
Hello? Is anyone there?
But this isn't just the guy from before number. He's something worse now. A demonic, vengeful spirit. Hell took what little humanity he had left. Now there's just pure sin. And he's coming back for revenge.
You will pay for what you did to me. You made me kill my brother. The person on earth that I loved the most. And then you killed me!
Meanwhile, Gwen's visions keep intensifying. The murdered children are trying to help her, giving clues about what happened decades ago. But the grabber, he can reach her in her dreams. And not just reach her, he can hurt her, like for real. He's spinning her around, tossing her like a rag doll. It's horrifying. They start piecing things together. The grabber was once a worker of the camp, called Wild Bill Hickok. He murdered children and hid their bodies under the frozen lake. And these children, their spirits tether him to this world, giving him power, feeding his rage. Then comes the hardest truth. Gwen learns her mum had the same powers. Hope tried to stop the grabber, but he killed her, hung her body from the ceiling, staged it as a suicide. All this time, the kids and even Gwen and Finney thought they were just cursed. But it wasn't that simple. The tension keeps building. The storm rages. The phone keeps ringing. Shadows move in impossible ways. Every creak, every howl of wind, you can feel it in your chest. The grabber is everywhere, watching, waiting. And then the final showdown. Gwen's in her dream, fighting for her life, spinning, screaming, struggling. Finney and Ernesto are in the real world, battling an invisible force, trying to protect her. Snow flies, objects crash, two worlds collide, the dream and reality smashing together. And then it happens. The ice breaks. The children rise from the frozen lake, pale, trembling, finally free. They grab the grabber. Finney swings the axe. The mask shatters. And underneath, a face no one should ever see. Lips torn away, skull-like teeth exposed. It's pure nightmare fuel. One final swing. The grabber sinks beneath the icy lake. The children's spirits are finally free. Silence. And just when you think it's over, the phone rings. Gwen answers. It's her mother, Hope. But this time it's warm, loving, giving her closure. This gift, it's not a curse. It's a bridge. The snow clears, the bodies are recovered, the grabber's hold is gone. Finney and Gwen finally breathe. They leave together. Trauma still there, but finally manageable. And that phone booth? Just standing there, quiet, like it's waiting for the next call. So, should you expect a Black Phone 3? Maybe. Nothing is confirmed. The movie doesn't tease it, and the ending feels complete. But the grabber came back from hell, right? And director Scott Derrickson has said that making a third movie has to be better than the first two. That door is open. The grabber could easily come back, with new powers, new ways to terrify us. So yeah, the story ends for now. But that phone booth, it's always waiting. And maybe, just maybe, The nightmare isn't over. Now that the nightmare is over, at least for now, let's talk about the Black Phone 2 itself. Was it worth the wait? Did it live up to the first movie? Or did it lose the magic that made the original so haunting? Here are Silent Hour's honest thoughts. If you go in expecting a chilling slasher, cold, isolated, and unapologetically creepy, the Black Phone 2 delivers. The snowy mountain camp setting gives the film this sense of suffocating isolation. You can almost feel the cold pressing in, the silence echoing through the trees. It's a perfect stage for a supernatural showdown. It embraces the fun side of horror, jump scares, eerie phone calls, and moments that make you laugh before you realize you shouldn't be laughing. Think of it as a blend of A Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, wrapped in snow and revenge. It's campy, chaotic, and honestly, a good time if you're in it for the thrills. But if you expected another slow-burn masterpiece like the original, this sequel might not hit the same. The first film thrived on silence and psychology, the fear of what might happen rather than what does. The Black Phone 2 trades that for louder scares and faster pacing. It's more action horror than psychological terror. Finney and Gwen's trauma is there, but it doesn't breathe the way it did before. The emotional core, the thing that made the grabber terrifying beyond his mask, is thinner this time. It's entertaining, yes, but it lacks the haunting weight that made the first movie unforgettable. So, where does that leave the Black Phone 2? It's a movie of two faces. One for horror fans who just want a chilling ride, and one for those hoping for the same dread that made the first films so iconic. If you see it as a standalone ghost slasher, it's fun. But as a true sequel, it struggles to live up to its predecessor's psychological edge. Still, it's hard to deny the atmosphere, the tension, and those final moments that leave you wondering if the nightmare's really over. Love it or hate it, the Black Phone 2 still gave Silent Hour's fearless viewers a story worth talking about. Before we dive into the hidden facts, let us know in the comments, which one have you seen, and which one is your favorite? Real-life inspiration. The Grabber is partially inspired by real-life serial killers like John Wayne Gacy and others from the 1970s. The Black Van, balloons, and magician persona are all subtle nods to those cases. The Grabber's mask. The creepy design with the cracked face in Black Phone 2 wasn't just for shock value. It symbolizes his humanity being destroyed and his evolution into a full-on demonic presence. Filming locations' secrets. Alpine Lake Camp wasn't a real camp. The winter scenes were shot in a studio and remote snowy locations, which is why it feels so isolated and terrifying. Every snowdrift and shadow were meticulously placed to heighten suspense. And of course, a heartfelt thanks to Silent Hour Guardian, Diddy Criffield. Your support keeps us going. And don't forget, be unique, be bold, and be you.